Hello and welcome to this teacher's guide into the use of ResultsPlus. In this short video, I'll be explaining how to locate and log into the ResultsPlus service. I'll be discussing how you can analyse your cohort's results against other centres to identify areas of strengths and weakness, and I'll be discussing how the same analysis could be applied to future mock exams. So why might you want to use the ResultsPlus service? Well, ResultsPlus is an online results analysis tool for teachers that gives you a detailed breakdown of your students' performance in Pearson Edexcel exams and in BTEC external assessments as well. So why should you use it? Well, it allows you to acquire detailed analysis of your learners' performance. You can identify potential topics, skills and types of questions where students may need to develop their learning. You can see actual scores for each exam, each question for a student or a class or even a group that you've predefined. You can understand how your students' performance compares with classes from other centres and in terms of Pearson Edexcel national averages as well. You can acquire data that may support effective learning and teaching processes, and this can be used to help with departmental training on teaching strengths and developing points. And remember that all of these services can also be applied for future mock exams that you may run in-house as well. Firstly, I'm going to talk about logging into the ResultsPlus service. So as you can see, I've opened up an internet browser here. We can see Google Chrome, and I've written ResultsPlus in the search bar there. This has pulled up the first item there, which is the ResultsPlus Pearson Qualifications tab. If we click on that link there, it will take us to this page here. Okay, now what we're going to do is find the login to ResultsPlus button down there and click that, and it will take us on to this login page here. Now it's asking us for authentication mode. What we're going to do is choose EOL, that stands for Edexcel Online, and then choose the login button. If you haven't got an Edexcel online login at the moment, it's advisable that you speak to your exams officer at your centre to get the login details, credentials for that, or they may have to request them through Pearson Edexcel. When you click those buttons, it will then ask you to log in using those credentials, making sure that you put your username and password and tick in the box there that you accept the terms and conditions, and then by pressing login, it will take you to the ResultsPlus service. When you're first presented with the ResultsPlus login page, you'll see there's a lot of choices to work on, but we're going to look at the ResultsPlus Analysis as our first area of focus. So if we click on that button there, it will pull up a page like this. Now, you've got a range of options here. You can see we can focus on all the results in Excel, download the report. We can compare different groups if we set these up. We can look at an individual student's results as well, so all of their exams for one particular student, or today's focus really is looking at the cohort as a whole in comparison to others. So if we choose cohort results there, we then got given two further options, so we can go to the cohort grade reports, or again, what I'm most interested in today, the cohort paper analysis. So if we go into this box here, it's going to ask us to make some selections. You can see I've already put some things in here, but we're going to choose the qualification. In this case, I'm choosing GCSE. We're going to choose the session, as in the exam series that you're working on, in this case, June 2012, and you're going to scroll down to choose your award. So I'm focusing here on the GCSE Religious Studies Specification A paper, and by clicking the button for their view paper analysis, it takes us onto this page here. Now it's opening up information about this paper 1A for Catholic Christianity, and you can see what we've got is we've got a breakdown of questions on the left hand side, so 1A all the way through to the end of the questions there. For each of the questions there, you can see it gives us a centre average for that question. So in the case of question 1A there, we can see it just covered by the arrow there, but we're getting an average of 1.29 out of a potential highest mark of 3. Now, in terms of the performance, we've got a little bar there, and it's got green, amber, and red. If we hover over each of those areas, we can see where centres have performed particularly well, as in green, and particularly badly, in red. And if we hover over those, we can see how many candidates are in each of those areas, each of those groupings. You can also change your comparison. So where it says level comparison there, we can look at other levels of attainment there. So we can look at just level 4s in comparison to level 5s or even up to level 9s. Okay. Now the next box that we'll look at on the next arrow there is highlighting the issues. Okay, now what we've got there is we've got this term variance. Now what we're seeing is our centre's score for each of those exam questions, each of those components, in comparison against, in this case, an Edexcel average of all centres, and it's highlighting issues. In this case, we haven't got many issues. In fact, what we're seeing here is the centre in all of these questions is actually achieving above the average Edexcel for the nation, for the country, effectively. Yeah. What we can also do in the last bit there where it says hover for skill, if we do hover over any of those circles with the letter I inside it, we will see what skills are being tested in each of those questions, so we can understand a bit more. So if we were to see an issue in the variance column, or we were to see a big red box or only a small number of greens, effectively, we could look at the skill tested there, and it will give us an understanding of what that question is tested in terms of its skill. Now, the next thing we'll choose, along the top you saw there was different tabs. The first one we was in was analysis. The next tab there is highlight report. Now, if we click into this, it's quite useful as a subject lead, perhaps if you've got a report back to one of your seniors, effectively, on how well you're doing in particular areas. Or you might just be interested, effectively. So what we can do is we can look, in this case it defaults to the cohort's top 10 skills to celebrate in relation, again, to, in this case, the Edexcel average, but we can change this, determining what we want to make a comparison against. In this case, we are looking at the top 10 skills in relation to the average, and this is what we're seeing. So these questions here, these topics, is where our centre is performing particularly well. And as again, if we look across to where it says variance there, you can see in that first question, the significance of life, death, resurrection, and the ascension of Jesus there, our centre is performing almost 15% above that Edexcel average for other centres. So that's particularly good, and it's something that we can kind of celebrate in our centre. Looking across the top again, if we go to the next tab where it says skills map, okay, what we're seeing here is again a mapping of how well each individual skill is being adopted in our centre, or how well we're doing. If we look at the key at the top, we can see we've got a small triangle, we have an amber circle, and we have a red square and something not tested. So if we've got areas in the specification where we weren't testing that thing, it would be that kind of grey rhombus shape or grey diamond. Okay. Now what we can see is in this particular sample of questions there, you can scroll up and down obviously to see the whole paper, but we can see beliefs and teaching there is in that 35 to 70% bracket. So we're doing around average, I suppose. However, in the sacramental nature of reality, we can see our centre is performing over 70%. So it's doing pretty well there. So we can see a sort of a summary of skills there. The last tab that we're going to look at across the top here in this part of the analysis is the exams document. Okay, so sometimes it's quite difficult for centres to find the examination paper or the mark scheme, or perhaps the principal examiner's report for certain things. And just like with our Exam Wizard service, ResultsPlus has all of these in the same place as well. So if you have done an analysis on a centre and you wanted to look at the paper or the mark scheme or even the examiner's report on these particular areas, you can click into the exam documents and download PDF documents that have got all this information in one place. So it certainly makes things a lot more convenient to you, hopefully the teacher. So as I said earlier in the video, in addition to having a results analysis after an exam series, so after a summer exam series, for example, what we can also do is analyse our students' exam results as we go through mock papers as well. So we might run a series of mocks throughout the year, perhaps year 10, perhaps year 11, and we can use ResultsPlus to do the same sort of service as we see after a summer exam series or after a formal exam series. So the first thing we're going to do if we want to achieve this is to upload our students into the system so that we can then apply scores to each of the different units that they might undertake or exam papers they might undertake in mock exams. So what we're going to do is go to our initial home page for ResultsPlus and then move on to this second focus now, the mock analysis service. If we click on that, we'll get a chance to see a few other options here. We're going to choose that middle option there, which is create new student accounts. So we're going to be uploading new students to the system that aren't currently on the system. So this might be the case in the case of a year 10 class, or even a year 11 if they haven't done an exam series already. It will then take you to this page. So what we have to do first is click on the option there where we can download a spreadsheet. So when you download the spreadsheet, it'll open up as an Excel form like this, and what we'll have is a blank area of data with first name, last name, date of birth and gender, where we can enter in our class details. Now, it's important when you do this, when you're entering the data here, that you don't change the format in any way. And when you go to save it, you save it in the same format that it was when you downloaded it from the ResultsPlus service there. So once you've entered your data there, so I've just put some humorous names in there and put some background data. Once we've done that and saved it, the next stage will be to go back to our ResultsPlus service here, and then all we have to do is just choose the file for upload. So we've downloaded the spreadsheet, we've entered our class details or our group details. Now what we're doing is we're choosing the file from the area we saved it onto the system and putting it onto the ResultsPlus service. When we've done this, we'll get a report back from ResultsPlus, hopefully telling us that it was successful. And in this case, as you can see, I added 6 new students to the ResultsPlus service. So it says there 6 students were found in the spreadsheet that already exist in the system, because I've already done this before. If you were to do this for the first time, you would see it would say 6 new students have been added to the system. So once you have your group uploaded, the students uploaded, we can then assign them into different groups to then see how they perform in various mock exams. So in step 1, we uploaded our class data, and now what we're going to do is upload the data for the mock exam that we would have undertaken in the classroom setting. So we might have done a mock for year 10 or year 11, and we're going to upload the data, the scores for each of those individual questions. So we go back into the ResultsPlus service, and this time we're going to choose this option here, Find Past Papers and Manage Student Mock Marks. When we click on this, it's going to ask us to select the exam paper that we actually undertook in class. So we've got the qualification to choose here, the paper type, and obviously the session when the paper took place. So we're looking for the mock paper, the exact mock paper that we done in class. When we click on this, we can obviously scroll down and we can see a selection of papers based on these choices that we've made here. So the one I've chosen is the Religious Studies A paper on the A spec there, and I'm choosing paper 1A, Catholic Christianity. When I've chosen the mock that I undertook in class, I'm going to click on this button where it says Bulk Import. So I click on this and it takes us to another screen here. And what we're going to do is press this button at the top, which allows us to download our spreadsheet, very much like before when we was entering it for class detail, to open up an Excel sheet to fill in. This is what the Excel sheet will look like, but I've already filled in the data here. Now, here's a big suggestion for you. What I would suggest you do is that you open up your previous Excel spreadsheet that you used to upload the student names and details, and then copy and paste those exact same details, first name, last name, date of birth and gender, directly from that sheet onto this one. What this does is it ensures that there's no discrepancies in terms of format, and everything will stay in a system and in a way that ResultsPlus will like to handle it when it gets uploaded at the other end. The only other data we've got to include, and we've got to be quite precise here obviously, is our individual question responses for each of those students. So here we go for Mr. Potter there. For question 1A he scored 2, for 1B he scored 3, and so on and so forth. So we upload all of that information, or we enter all that information into the sheet here, and we save it again in exactly the same file format that it was downloaded in. When we've done this, we can go back to ResultsPlus again, and we browse. We look for that file that we've just produced, where it will come up here, and we click on the upload button there. Now, it might take a little while to upload, but if we've done it correctly, we haven't changed any of the format, and we've done it in the way it was intended, it will get a little tick there and some information saying that the spreadsheet was uploaded successfully. When we've done this, we can just click Next to move on to the next stage. So by now, you should have uploaded your group details and also input some marks for a mock exam that you've done in class. Now, the third step, and this is the last kind of complicated step effectively, is assigning students that we've uploaded into a group so that we can then get the analysis services from ResultsPlus. So what we're going to do is go back to our home page again, and this time choose Create or Edit a Group. When we go into here, we're going to select the option to create a new group, and then we have to be very careful again and choose the exam or the mock exam that we actually just set. So as you can see here, I've chosen the GCSE June 2019, the Religious Studies paper on Spec A there, and the paper, and we've chosen mock there. Now when we press Find Students, this then draws up all that data that we chose before. So what we're going to do is click the button here which says First Name, which selects all of the students there, and then we're going to click the little arrow there to add those to the group. They'll then go across onto this new window here where we're going to put a name for the group and then save the group, and then that group data will be saved onto ResultsPlus and using the mock exam information that we've provided already. Once we've done this and we click Save, we should have a box that comes up that tells us we've been successful, that should now allow us to look into the analysis in the next stage. So once you've gone through the various stages of uploading your group details and uploading the data in terms of how they scored in a previous mock exam that you've done in class, it's now time to actually use the service ResultsPlus offers for analysing mock results as well, just as you would in a live exam. So if we go into this window before with the mock exam analysis, we're going to choose View Mock Results Analysis. Here we can look at individual students' results, but this is what we're really looking at, the group results. So we can see that in-depth analysis as we would in a live exam series. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose our name here for our group that we've created, and we're going to choose the group. You might have more than one, obviously, because you might have more than one class. And if we click over here, View Group Analysis, we can see the analysis just as we would for a live exam. So it will pull up the various exams that this group has done. In this case, it's only one, the one that I uploaded there. So we're going to select the paper here and then click down here where it says View Paper Analysis. When we click on this box, we get presented with just the same service as we would in the live exam. So we've got an overview there, we've got an analysis of the whole class in comparison to various other centres. We can put all of those statistics in for comparison as we would with a live exam series, and we'll see the positives and negatives in each of those areas. We can see a highlight report showing where we've done particularly well in the mock paper that we've just undertaken. We've got the skills map there, identifying the various skills in particular questions, again, where we've succeeded or we need to develop effectively. And just like with the live exam series, you'll also get the collection of exam documents, such as the paper, the mark scheme, and the examiner's report there that you can view as well. So I hope that was enjoyable and informative for you, and I hope you take the chance to upload your mocks and use the analysis service on offer there.